Hey everyone, Beyond TCG here, and welcome to the final set review episode of the Pokemon Horizon Rising set. That is right, folks, you've made it all the way to the end. We've only got a few more cards left, and then you'll have seen the full set. These final cards are going to be our supporter cards, our stadium cards, and our special energy cards. So, what are we going to see regarding them? There's going to be seven supporter cards. Sorry, one of them is a reprint. It's just something, a different take that you'll see on some of the cards that they're making these days. But six brand new supporter cards that you can kind of think about how you want to put them in your deck. Three brand new stadium cards and three brand new special energy. I'm very excited to show you these because I know decks consistently have these kind of cards. You know, they're going to be taking up most of your deck slots. So what kind of cards you're going to see today are definitely going to affect how your deck functions. But again, let's hop right into some cards. All right, our first supporter here is Champion. So first off, I set this up to be kind of generic, just like Professor's Research and Boss's Orders, because there's many different kinds of Champion. And it simply says, draw a card for every type among your Pokemon. So one of my biggest problems with the current Pokemon TCG, if you ever watch a actual competitive game, they're almost always mono-type decks. It's honestly kind of boring in my opinion because you're basically looking at, okay, what does my type get to do compared to the other types? It's very hard to spread out between different types, and I think the supporter does a good job of incentivizing you to have multiple different Pokemons, just like how you'd normally have a Pokemon battle. You'd have a team of many different types. So yeah, this will be a consistent card here. This champion's Leon, but it's expected that it could be other ones like Lance or I don't know, Iris. So next up we have Flower Lady's Peace. It's a supporter that says draw 4 cards. If you knock out an opponent's Pokemon this turn, you must discard 4 cards. So this is another cool one where you're able to draw several cards, but it's also kind of giving you an extra reward for maybe not using an attack or knocking out a Pokemon every single turn. But hey, maybe you also just want to draw 4 and then discard 4 cards. So just a really strong draw supporter that kind of incentivizes a specific strategy. And next we have Miner. Draw a card, then for each basic energy type among cards in your discard pile, you may attach it to one of your Pokemon. So just like with Champion here, I'm trying to incentivize everyone to focus on these cards that make like multi-type decks. You know, this one especially is going to encourage you to have multiple different energy in your discard pile. So again, these supporters, they're not just generic draw cards. They're actually telling you, hey, specific decks get specific rewards for being played this way. All right, let's look at our next cards here. We have Plumeria's Anger. Real simple one. It says draw 2 cards. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Again, there's a lot of draw 2, do X or Y, and I thought this is just a very simple effect to be added on to the game. I know people like playing Koga's Trap, so this is kind of a better version of that. Next we have Rival. This is kind of the reprint card that I think just needs to be done. The draw 3 cards. You see this over and over, with whether it's like Tierno or Hop or How or whatever the character, they always draw 3 cards. So I say just call it Rival and then give it the stamp of who it is. Problem solved right there. And next we have Weather Reporter. For every Pokemon type among Pokemon, you may search your deck for basic energy of the type and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Again, you just heard the same spiel with Champion and the Miner. They're all incentivizing you to have multi types in your deck, and this card is exactly the same as that. It's really great because it fetches those energies, so you don't feel like your deck is so inconsistent for having a million different energy types as well. And our final supporter here is going to be a very powerful one, Lucamine's Insanity. During your opponent's next turn, their Pokemon have no abilities. So I see a lot of people complaining about stuff like Boss's Orders in the game, which I think is kind of a double-edged sword. Like, it's kind of important, but it does also feel bad. So I wanted to make a supporter that doesn't draw you cards, but does some sort of effect that you would want to use anyway because it's so powerful. And I think this is a perfect example. We've seen so many powerful abilities in the set review here, and this basically kind of shuts down what your opponent is doing next turn. So it's a great control card, and yeah, just a supporter that I could see people playing even though it doesn't draw cards. All right, let's hop into our stadiums next. Our first stadium up is going to be City of Pokemon. It says once during a player's turn, they may reveal a Pokemon in their hand. Their active Pokemon can use an attack on that Pokemon if they can pay for that attack. So basically what it's saying is, I don't know, let's say you have a Pokemon in play with 2 electric energy, then you can reveal another Pokemon that has an attack that costs electric, or even maybe electric generic or colorless. and then you can use the attack of that Pokemon in your hand. So definitely a lot of cool strategies there. You can maybe have a basic and then reveal a stage 2 and deal some damage. I can see a lot of really cool decks that'll come out of this stadium in particular. Up next, we have Crystal Shrine here. We'll probably see more of these stadiums in the future that care about 3 specific types, as we'll see. But this one says, during your turn, instead of playing an energy from your hand for your energy attachment, you may attach a fire, water, or fairy energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So just a really nice generic stadium for any of those 3 types, where instead of attaching from the hand, you can attach from the discard pile, which is great because you're likely to get energy there. So very decent stadium if you happen to be playing in those types. And finally, we have World of Pokemon. This one says, once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a basic Pokemon that does not share a type with any Pokemon they have in play and put it onto their bench. That player then shuffles their deck. Again, same thing you heard earlier with Weather Reporter, Champion, Miner, all these cards that are trying to incentivize you to have these multi-type decks, and I think this is another great example of that. Gets your consistency out, so you don't have to feel bad for playing a 2-type deck even. So, all right, that's our stadiums. Let's finish with our final 3 cards of the set, the Special Energy. First up, we have Life Energy. Life Energy is a grass energy, and it says, if you attach this energy from your hand to one of your grass Pokemon, you may search your deck for Pokemon that can evolve from the Pokemon you attach to and evolve it. If you do, your turn ends. So again, keep in mind that's a may. You don't have to evolve every single time that you attach it. But if you do, this is a great card, especially let's say you're going second, you're going to be behind on the evolutions. This is a card that allows you to get back into the game. You lose your turn, but honestly, I don't think you care. Most evolution decks just want to get that evolution out as fast as possible. And this is specifically for grass decks. So just really strong special energy, and I'm sure you can expect some good ones out of the next ones. Next, we have Meteor Energy for fire decks. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides fire energy. If this energy is sent to your discard pile from your hand or deck, you may attach it to one of your fire Pokemon. So this one's a little bit more unique. You kind of have to build around it. It's not like the life energy that you can just like throw it in any grass deck exactly. But, we saw how many cards in fire that were discarding from the top of the deck or discarding from your hand. And this one is basically an energy accelerant if you manage to do that. So just another great incentive for fire decks to use. And finally, we have Orbit Energy in Lightning. As long as it's attached, it provides lightning energy. If you attach this energy to one of your benched lightning Pokemon, you may switch that Pokemon with your active Pokemon. So this is just great because it's a lightning energy when you need it, and it's basically another 4 copies of Switch in your deck. And we saw how many of those lightning cards that get bonuses for switching in and out are doing different effects like that. All right, with that, folks, congratulations. You've made it to the end of the entire set review for our first Pokemon set. This is a big milestone, not just for you all, but kind of for me. I'm really glad that we made it here. In fact, it seems like it blew by so quickly. But hey, that's a good thing because there's a lot of cool stuff in the future. So I know this is a shorter episode, but before we wrap it up, I want to talk about some of the things that you can look forward to in the coming weeks. So just because we finished this one set, we are nowhere near done. This is the tip of the iceberg. So what's coming next? I am working on some things in the background right now. So for the next 2 weeks, as I like to give you all weekly videos, there's going to be 2 design-related videos. I think they're going to be a different take of Pokemon card ratings than you've seen before. So look forward to that. I think you'll be interested in kind of my thoughts regarding some cards. Then there's going to be the instructional side of how you can make and play these cards. So obviously, you've seen all of these. I keep talking about making decks, and I want to give you all the ability to do so. I am specifically working on something right now that's going to empower you all to be able to play these cards, but takes a little bit of work. So stand by. That video is coming soon, and I'm really excited to hear what you all do. I also have a who am I? What is this? What is this channel all about, and why am I doing it video in the future? I plan on making kind of a longer format. It's a little bit different, but that one I am very much looking forward to. And you'll even get to see me playing the Pokemon TCG, which doesn't happen all that often since I'm usually designing it. But you'll get an idea of where my process comes from and hey, what's going on there. So look forward to that. Deck guides, obviously, especially once we get those cards out there, out here to give suggestions for all of you of fun things to play. Although, obviously, I am a designer. My greatest joy is watching you all come up with your own ideas, even more than me coming up with ideas. So I look forward to that. And then More sets with the question mark? Is there more cards in the future? I think there probably is. But you know what? We'll talk about that more in the who, what, why video. There's a lot of exciting things to talk about there. So thanks again, everyone, for taking a look at these videos. I always appreciate it. If you really love what you see, any likes or comments that you see there, I appreciate them greatly because it gives me feedback to know that we're doing good things. Or if you're looking for other things from the channel, definitely let me know. I'm always excited to hear any constructive feedback on what's going on. So this has been this episode. Like I said, folks, this is the tip of the iceberg. I cannot wait to show you what I have planned next for this channel. And again, this has been Beyond TCG, and I'll see you all in the next episode.